just checking.
It works.
We're going to be starting soon. Just welcome everybody. We're going to please gather forward the people that are performing. We're going to start with the program. And just a quick reminder that this action, this PerformaProtesta is on behalf of the Centro de Raza. In that sense, just being mindful of why we're here. We're not taking the streets. The person wearing the orange shirt, myself, Más recio? Más recio? ¿Sí me escuchas? No?
Yeah, a little louder. There you go.
Gritando.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not the one speaking. So Norell, come.
Hello. Okay, can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right. Okay, everybody, we're going to start with a blessing of the space. Thank you to our danzantes who came here to bless this space. So I'm gonna hand it over to them.
Good morning, Coritlanesi. We are Danza Cuatlicue, Semilizli. Joined by one of our comadritas, also here from San Diego. We want to say, first of all, we ask permission in the 4 directions to honor the land and to honor all living sentient beings, the seen and unseen. And today, we're here to offer prayer. We're here to offer our ofrenda, what we call our ofrenda, through our bodies and our movement, because ultimately it is the complete body and the complete essence of who we are, in order to bring light and in order to educate as well as to resist. And ultimately, that is why we're here. We are so fortunate, we are so proud to walk in this way, because it's been over 500+ years of colonization that has tried to wipe us away, and we will not be wiped away. We will not be erased. We will not be erased. We refuse. And so you see the young people here, you see the elders, again, the seen and unseen, from the most eldest being, which is the center of the drum, the old one, the ancient one that leads us. We want to offer the first danza, which is to Tonantzin. Tonantzin is Mother Earth, because ultimately that is our first teacher, our first mother, and where we will return. Mateo.
Let's get closer. Thank you so much, Don Santos, for the beautiful blessing, for reminding us that we are and we will always be on unceded Kumeyaay territory, and that no one is illegal on stolen land. My name is Norell. I'm a board member of the Centro Centro Cultural de la Raza. I'm here with my compañeros and compañeras from the Centro. We're the organizers of the event. Thank you so much for coming on a Saturday morning to join us here. We're here to celebrate International Women's Day. This is a global day of action that began as an anti-capitalist movement organized by communist women in the 1900s, early 1900s. It was originally called International Working Women's Day. So give it up for all my trabajadoras, all the working women in the house. No, we get exploited on a larger level than anyone else. So I just want to say that we gather in front of the ICE office to denounce the unjust terrorizing of our immigrant communities. We recognize the disproportionate impact this has on mujeres, on immigrant women, on LGBTQ plus people. And we come here to say that we will not stand idly while our people are being terrorized by ICE and this fascist administration. We say, ya basta. Stop the ICE raid. Close all detention centers. And I'll just conclude by reminding us that International Women's Day is international. That means that our struggles with our sisters around the world are interconnected with our own, with all of us. The struggles of our Palestinian sisters in Gaza, the struggles of our Indigenous sisters all over the world who are murdered and disappeared, those are our struggles too. The struggles of our trans sisters and our LGBTQ plus relatives that are targets of hate crimes, those are our struggles too. So let's continue organizing, let's continue protesting. Thank you so much, let's continue fighting. And so right now I'm going to hand it over to Ana Hernandez, the Executive Director of the Centro Cultural de la Raza.
Gracias, Norell. Buenos dias. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. So this week, the United Nations announced that in 2024, 1 in 4 countries across the world experienced backlash in women's rights. Make no mistake, the United States is definitely on that list. The president right now is a known perpetrator of sexual violence, whose administration has already dismantled the right to abortion, and in their embrace of fascism, at this point is denying the legacy of racism, is in the process of dismantling and making invisible all folks who are transgender identified. Thank you, exactly. And many, many more things that we could list, but we would be here all day. We're here today because this creates an environment in which violence, including sexual violence, increases. We're here today because immigration enforcement, which is state-sanctioned violence inside the so-called borders of the United States, preys intentionally on folks of color, it preys intentionally on immigrants, it preys intentionally on indigenous people, preys intentionally on LGBTQ folks and people who are poor and working class. We are here today because the agents of immigration enforcement are known perpetrators of sexual violence, and they do so with impunity. These are not individual actors. These are agents of the state acting under protection of the state agency. This is functionally sexual violence perpetrated by the state. So we are here today to, of course, stand in solidarity with folks who are in immigration detention. And today we want to particularly talk about women who are in immigration detention, LGBTQ folks who are in immigration detention, indigenous folks whose lands are being crossed by the wall and all forms of immigration enforcement in this country. So we are here today because we know that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of reported incidents of sexual violence and other forms of abuse inside of immigration detention. We know also that California has the 3rd largest immigrant detainee population in the country. That is only in the 6 privately run for-profit detention centers that are run by ICE in this state. That does not include the Border Patrol detention facilities that exist, including across here in San Diego. These are places where Border Patrol will hold folks and they have no they have no reporting system. There's no way of knowing who these folks are, how many they are, and how long that they have been held. They hold them in prison-like conditions before transferring them to ICE Otay Mesa Detention Center, which is another of the private for-profit detention centers here in the state. So we are here today because gender justice isn't only about equity. Gender justice is a recreation of how we consider power and control. It is a recreation of relationships. It is by definition revolutionary, and we are here today because we're going to see that revolution through. Thank you.
Gracias, Ana. Buenos días. My name is Jade Power-Sotomayor from the Centro board, and we're here today to bring our bodies to this public space, to this site where the bodies of our kin are detained and held. This government, their predecessors, and the systems and people that enable them target, surveil, discipline, exploit, control, and violate our bodies and the bodies of our loved ones. For many, it may feel unsafe to bring their bodies here or even to leave their homes at all. Undocumented folks, women stepping out on the street any time of the day, trans folks targeted and hated for the fact of their existence. But we, beautiful people, also believe in the collective power of our bodies as a site of resistance and as a site of power. Today, we bring you our PerformaProtesta. Following in the tradition of many before us, our art and our collective voice is a protest, and our protest is art. We share two short pieces. The first, Un Violador en tu Camino, a rapist in your path, is a protest performance created in 2019 by Chilean activist collective LasTesis, which quickly became a global feminist anthem, drawing connections between structural and interpersonal violence against feminized people, the active negligence and complicity of the state, and the shaming and silencing that facilitate and perpetuate the violence. The performance draws on our collective embodied presence, united as una sola voz. The second piece, Alerta Despierta, speaks to the urgencies of our current moment and was collectively created by us, all of us, during the recent January residency with LasTesis at the Centro, as they so powerfully remind us, patriarcado y capital, alianza criminal. Vamos.
States, January 25th, 2025.
Solo gritaremos rabia y cantos de esperanza. Solo gritaremos rabia y cantos de esperanza. La rebeldía quemará el miedo para alcanzar la sanación y juntas cultivar semillas de liberación.
Aliens unlawfully within the United States present significant threats to national security and public safety, committing vile and heinous acts against innocent Americans. Executive order titled Protecting the American People Against Invasion, January 2025.
Solo gritaremos rabia y cantos de esperanza. Solo gritaremos rabia y cantos de esperanza. Alerta, despierta, rompe el aislamiento. Juntas quemamos el miedo y en las cenizas sembramos. Y en las cenizas sembramos. Y en las cenizas sembramos. Unión y libertad. Not your papers. Not your papers. Not your money. Not your money. Not your papers. 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 Not your money. Not your racist, sexist laws. 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 Not your papers, not your money, not your racist, sexist laws. Not your papers, not your money, not your racist, sexist laws. Not your papers, not your money, not your racist, sexist laws. Not your papers, not your money, not your racist, sexist laws. Not your papers, not your money, not your racist, sexist laws. Not your papers, not your money, not your racist, sexist laws. Our bodies answer to the earth. 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 Never to this fascist state. 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 Our bodies answer to the earth. Our bodies answer to the earth. Never to this fascist state. Never to this fascist state. Our bodies answer to the earth. Never to this fascist state. Our bodies answer to the earth. Never to this fascist state. Our bodies answer to the earth. Never to this fascist state. Our bodies answer to the earth. Never to this fascist state. Not your papers, not your money, not your racist, sexist laws. Not your papers, not your money, not your racist, sexist laws. Our bodies answer to the earth. Never to this fascist state. Our bodies answer to the earth. Never to this fascist state. Not your papers, not your money, not your papers, not your money. Not your papers, not your money, not your papers, not your money. Not your racist, sexist laws. Not your racist, sexist laws. Our bodies answer to the earth. Our bodies answer to the earth. Never to this fascist state. Never to this fascist state. Eso, gracias. Thank you. That was beautiful. So we're just gonna have a few speakers, and then we're gonna end it with our danzantes, our beautiful danzantes. So I wanna ask Teyana to come up. Teyana does an amazing work raising awareness on the missing and murdered Indigenous women.
Go get the staff and the runner's staff, and also there's one person.
Okay, so give us a quick second to set up here. So as we were saying earlier, we're here in our collective struggles, and we wanted to raise awareness on the issues that our Indigenous sisters across the world, in Turtle Island, all the way down to Abya, and the disappearances and the murders, unjust murders, and the state continuously ignores. And they
They don't care. There's no accountability. So Teyana does some amazing work raising awareness through art, through performance, through music. So I'm gonna hand out the mic over to her. Please help me welcoming Teyana.
I woke up this morning and the night before we're really busy, and I was thinking to myself, you know, what am I going to say? There's a lot going on in Indian country, you know, and there's a lot going on with our people, north and south. But as the women were doing their demonstration, their protest, it reminded me of the first time I got back from Standing Rock and we had our first International Women's Day March in LA. There was about 70,000 women that came. And when that was in 2017. And when we were marching through downtown LA and we came upon the detention center and we had our banners, our streetwide banners, we could hear the tapping on the windows because they could hear us. They could hear that we heard them. And the organizers of that march wanted to keep moving. We had a big truck with a bunch of people on it, and we were like, no. And we stood there, and we raised our fists, and we raised our voices, and we said, we hear you. And so I would like to say that 4 times, because as the louder we got and the louder we said, we hear you, we all could hear the tapping on the windows getting louder and louder and louder. And it reminds us it's so important that not only do we come into these spaces and raise awareness, but that we know that they hear us. And in the work that we do for our missing and murdered Indigenous women and relatives, they need to know we hear them, that we're listening, and that we are guided by something much deeper than ourselves, than even any platforms that we have, organizations that we bring together. We know that it's going to take each and every one of us to hear. So 4 times there, say, we hear you. We hear you. Oh no, we're going to have to do better than that. We need to hear them. We need to know that our ancestors hear us and that we hear them. So, we hear you! We hear you! Feel it in your soul. We hear you! 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 Thank you, mujeres, for that beautiful demonstration with so much passion and strength and warrior spirit and right? My name is Teyana, and I am, my partner is not here, and we are way up the sacred mountain. Why are we way up the sacred mountain? We're mountain prayer runners. And the work that we do started very grassroots, running the prayers in the mountains for our missing, murdered Indigenous women and relatives. And as all of you know, how many of you here know what MMIW stands for? The acronym. Have you ever heard of it? Yes. So missing and murdered Indigenous women is a crisis that's happening all across Indian country. It's a public health crisis, and it is an ongoing expression of government-sanctioned violence against Indigenous women from Turtle Island that has taken place from frontier homicide, colonization, from all of the different tactics that have taken place throughout our history until now, which has led to the extraction industry projects that are raping our mother. The coal, the oil, stealing our water, contaminating our water. And most of these projects take place on the borders of reservation lands. And so, but they also, this issue is rooted deeply in the violence that has occurred to our people for 500 years. And we have seen this epidemic rise in Turtle Island. We have seen it rise in Indian country. We just came back from an MMIP, Missing Murdered Indigenous People Summit, right here in the Pala Reservation. And we know that California is number 5 in the top 5 of missing and murdered Indigenous women across the United States, across Turtle Island. And so that is something to make us think. You know, this is our problem. You know, in Yurok territory just last year, they've got hundreds of women and girls, men and boys that have gone missing and have been found murdered. And it's devastating. It's an egregious act against Indigenous peoples. And we know, since today is National Indigenous International Women's Day, we know that this isn't just happening here. That we know that we acknowledge our relatives in Las Cruces, our women there, and the way that they're just discarded once they're murdered in the street like trash. We know that in Canada, our women, they go missing and murdered in 10 times disproportionate rate than anyone else. And then we think about Chihuahua, Mexico, and how our women go missing and are found murdered through sex trafficking, through domestic violence. It's rooted in a way in systemic, broken system that was designed to erase all of us. An eraser is an act of genocide. And so what we are is we are living at a time when Indigenous genocide, eraser against Native people, connected to the lands, connected to their culture, connected to their language, have been uprooted and are under attack, and our lands are under siege. So we know that the solutions are rooted in the land. We know that the solutions are going back to the land and being connected to the medicines of the land, taking ourselves and decolonizing our mind, lifting up our spirit so that we stay connected to the land. And that also the healing for our people is connected into land back and standing on that with the strongest voice in a unified way, that we need to bring land back. And so I wanted to tell you a little bit about our work. I want to share here that we were honored last year a couple of years ago to actually be at the Centro and raise the grassroots work that we did from the mountains, the montañas. It went from the land, and then these prayers that were raised on the land were elevated from the earthen canvas into canvases that are now shared throughout the country in exhibits called Walking in Beauty, a living memorial for our sisters. So we don't want to just remember those that have been taken, those that have been stolen. And we know that 94% in the way that they went, knowing that the statistics say that 94% of our women that experience violent crimes and are taken are sexual crimes against them and in rape. It's horrific. We know that 40% of the women that are trafficked are 40% of the women that are trafficked are Indigenous women. They're Native women, only making up 1.2% of the population. So we have to understand that we are in a fight to end this because they are trying to close the womb of our women and not allow our life givers to bring forward the next generation. Because we know, as what that guy is doing, you know, I don't like to say his name, but he's trying to erase history, because that's what perpetrators do. That's what perpetrators do, is they want to get rid of any evidence that they were committing a crime. of violence and of genocide. So I want to acknowledge that we have a very serious story that came out just recently in February of a young girl, and I'd like us to say her name. Her name is Emily Pike. She's Apache from the Chiricahua San Carlos Reservation. She was 14 years old. She went missing, and she was found in a very horrific way. So right now we're grieving, we're mourning with the family, we're elevating the family's voices, and in our work we make sure that our work is central and keeping the survivors of those that have lost a daughter, a son, a mother to these violent crimes. So I want to say, for 14 seconds, I don't know who has a watch, but I would love to honor a moment of silence. She was only 14 years old. And so today at around 4 o'clock, we're also going to Cow's Mountain, which is really Kumeyaay Mountain. We want to honor the unceded territories that we're on in that mountain where the winter solstice happens. We'll be there at 4 to carry the prayers up to that peak at sundown. So if you'd like to join us, we will be doing that. And so I would like to take 14 seconds of silence for Emily Pike and honor her family, the community, the Apache communities in San Carlos for their grieving right now, and honor this young artist with her whole life ahead of us. This is happening time and time again, story after story, and we are doing everything we can to bring it to an end. So let's just honor this moment and take a moment of stillness and honor this family. Thank you.
Thank you. Hola, bienvenidos todos, todas. Muchas gracias. Les queremos dar la bienvenida. We want to give you a huge welcome. Thank you for being out here and supporting. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're taking time to unite, collectively, come out and grieve. I'm going to lead the next chant. Yo voy a dirigir la siguiente porra y va algo así. It's in Spanish, va a ser en español, pero queremos que nos oigan nuestras hermanas, nuestros hermanos que están ahorita detenidos, ¿verdad? Y va así, va, alerta, despierta. A ver, practicamos de este lado. Alerta, despierta. 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 Ah, muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. La siguiente parte va en lucha colectiva. En lucha colectiva. Practicamos en lucha colectiva. En lucha colectiva, en lucha colectiva, en lucha colectiva, en lucha colectiva. Muchas gracias. Va a ir así. Yo digo alerta, despierta, y ustedes dicen en lucha colectiva, ¿va? Vamos a hacer una vez. Alerta, despierta.
En lucha colectiva.
Alerta, despierta.
En lucha colectiva.
Alerta, despierta.
En lucha colectiva.
¡Despierta!
En lucha colectiva.
¡Alerta! ¡Despierta!
En lucha colectiva.
Muchas gracias. Le voy a dar el micrófono a Mecha. City College Mecha. ¿Dónde andan?
Give it up for all the student movements across the country. Students holding it down for us.
Today, we gather not just to commemorate International Women's Day, but to act, to rise, to resist. We stand together to amplify the voices of the countless women whose lives have been torn apart by the attacks of family separation and terror that ICE has inflicted upon our communities. We're here to continue their fight. Today, we make a statement that we will not be silent. We will not allow our families to be shattered. We will stand tall and fight for our dignity and humanity of every woman, every child, and every family. Family separation is an act of violence. Every day, our communities live in fear of being torn apart. Mothers who are separated from their children, children who are ripped from their parents' arms. Families are forced to live under the constant shadow of ICE raids. This is not just a political issue, this is a human issue, a moral issue, and we will not allow it to continue. We are here today because we refuse to compensate. We refuse to stay quiet while our communities are being terrorized. We refuse to accept the violence that ICE has brought to our doorsteps. We know what it means to care about others, to protect our families, to raise our children in love and safety. But as women, we also know that the state's terror is specifically designed to break us. It touches our strength, our power, and our unity. But we will not be broken. We demand justice for every mother who has been separated from their child, for every woman who has been detained or deported, for every immigrant, every refugee, every woman who has been faced violence and discrimination and criminalization of her existence. We are here to stand that women's lives matter, that our boys matter, that our families matter, that we matter. The protesta is not about anger, it's about love. It is about love to our families, for our communities, and for our generations of women who have come before us, whose struggles and sacrifices have paved the way for us to stand here today. We're here because of the deep love we have for one another, for the belief that every woman, every child, and every family deserves to live in safety and dignity.
We are here to perform the world that we want to see. A world where families are not torn apart, where mothers do not have to live in fear of losing their children, where no one is criminalized simply for seeking a better life. This is not just an act of protest, it's an act of creation. We are creating the world that we want. A world where justice is not a privilege, but a right. We are creating a world where women's strength is not something to be feared, but something to be honored. So today, as we stand together, let us remember, we are protesting for freedom. We are protesting for love. We are protesting for community. We are protesting for justice, and we are protesting for women. Let today be a call of action, a call for unity. Let it be a reminder to every woman and to every family that you are not alone. Okay? We will stand together. We will resist. We will keep fighting until every family is reunited and the terror vice is over. Muchas gracias.
Can I get a little drum beat? A little drum beat? This is inspired by LasTesis, but we translated into English. This little chat over here. Where's Jade? Do this with me. So I'm going to say oligarchies, patriarchies. You're going to respond by saying criminal alliance. Oligarchies, patriarchies, 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 criminal alliance. Woo! Thank you so much. We have one last speaker. Association of Raza Educators are joining us today. Thank you all so much for coming. Big of the educators in the house. How many educators we have in the house? I know we got a lot of educators here. Thank you so much for coming out and representing.
All right, guys, repeat after me. ¡Que vivan las mujeres! ¡Que vivan las mujeres! Buenas tardes, my name is Meli, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Association of Raza Educators, who first and foremost denounced this racist administration and the acts of terror it is attempting to inflict upon our people and our communities. We are here to reaffirm the fact that we are indigenous to these lands. We are not alien or immigrant, but have long before the creation of colonial borders and racist laws. We reside and remain here on our stolen lands, and as critical educators, we stand in defense of our communities as they come under attack. We are clear that from the moment colonizers have set foot on our land, they have used the weapons of borders and polymigra terror to try and subdue us. Additionally, they have wielded intentional sexual and psychological terror on our mujeres, who form an enduring foundations of our families and comunidades. So today, we gather not only to celebrate the mujeres among us, but to honor all of the fearless mujeres that have come before us, who have always been at the forefront of defying colonial violence since 1492. We must recognize that true liberation will only come when all women shatter their chains of oppression. Let us be clear, all struggles are interconnected.
Yes.
And the current administration, migrant terror and attacks on families directly impact la mujer, as we are the pillars that hold our families together. We must continue to unite and rise in defense of our children, our families, y nuestra comunidad. Women have always led the resistance, and it is our struggle to continue that extensive legacy. The Association of Raza Educators was formed in 1994 amid similar attacks of terror under the Bill Clinton and P. Wilson administrations, who levied equally violent threats of brutality and dehumanization, like Prop 187 and Operation Gatekeeper against our people. We rose for our gente then, and we continue to rise in defense now, calling on righteous educators and comunidad everywhere to join us. As part of our defense, we continue to demand ethnic studies on all campuses for all students. We need the classes and liberatory pedagogy that reaffirms the fact that we are indigenous to these lands. We are on stolen land, and we will no longer allow our students to languish in schools that deny them the truth about their history and cultura. Additionally, we demand that schools create, embrace, and uphold the collective spirits of our grandmothers and mothers, making school spaces of radical healing and empowerment. Our students will become the vanguards of their comunidades, armed with the critical conscience necessary to organize themselves towards liberation. Women make up the majority of our organization and lead our work. As we balance the task of work, motherhood, and community organizing, our practice as ARES supports our mujeres by recognizing their challenges, creating an environment that enables them to continue organizing. This includes child care services, flexible schedule for organizing, and a collective commitment to caring for each other's children as if they were our own. We extend an honest and crucial invitation to all of our hard-working mothers to join us and build the world we dare to envision for our children. In the mornings before our work as maestras, we take part of Unión del Barrio community patrols, monitoring and chasing ICE vehicles out of neighborhoods as they surround Raza working communities. While district leaders sleep comfortably in their beds, our families are subject to physical and psychological terror while merely trying to get to school and to work. To our teachers and gente everywhere, we're calling you today to join us. The power lies in an organized community. We are so many, while so many of them are cowards. This 500-year of struggle for freedom and dignity is not new to us. But the day has arrived that requires for us to do more, say more, and fight. La lucha sigue. ¡Que vivan los estudiantes! ¡Que vivan los maestros! Y no olvidemos que sin la mujer no hay revolución. ¡Que vivan las mujeres!
Thank you so much, everybody. We want to invite you tonight to come out to the Centro Cultural de la Raza. We're having an event in celebration of International Women's Day. Doors open at 6:30. We're going to have poets, performers, a little bit of music, and then DJ. So come out, spend time with us, and thank you all for coming.
You all are very cozy in the warm and the danzantes are cold, so we're going to ask you to form a circle around us here. So if all of you, maybe the staff can lead us on this side. If we can go around, if we can form a circle around the drum. All of you.
Everybody.
Movilícense. Mueven el cuerpo. Yes, if you are able, we welcome you to come around in the circle.
You can put your sign.
Thank you. We're going to close with two danzas. And traditionally, the drums are in the middle anyway, so this is a good thing. Okay?
started, so we invite you to move with us, okay?
What else is our plan this weekend?
We'll see you at the Centro tonight at 6:30.